Hey, healing community. It's your girl, Sal. Ew. And it's another episode of the Hot Girls Healing Podcast. I am always grateful to be here. Um, right now, as we are filming this, the Mercury retrograde started a couple of days ago. Just know that I've already been affected. And I'm seeking a class action suit against the no, I'm just kidding. Against this planetary placements. Because what? Things have been a lot lately, to be honest, y'all. And I've been feeling it. My people have been feeling it. So if you've been feeling it, know you are not alone. Know that people are out here in it with you. And don't be silent. Reach out to somebody if you need to. Y'all, today we're talking about healing yourself. Ain't nobody coming to save us. So whatever we want to make happen in life, whatever we want to see happening in life, we are the ones who are going to make that happen. We're going to be the ones to bring it to fruition. Today we're talking about healing yourself with somebody who know all about it. Okay? Spice is not new to this. She's true to this. And honestly, I met Spice in a moment where I was just in awe. Honestly, I was volunteering because get out there, y'all, support people, support nonprofits, support movements that you believe in. None of us have to reinvent the wheel. Whatever you want to see happening in the world, somebody is already helping that come along, so go help them. So I was volunteering. I'm just sitting there at my table telling people about, this free therapy that Therapy Fund Foundation provides. If you don't know, look them up. Shout out to them, love them. And then there's a panel at the event that I'm at. So I'm like, all right, let me clock into this little panel. I'm here anyway. Y'all, Spice got up there and started speaking about her life, started just pouring out love, pouring out motivation, pouring out realness, so much relatable content. And you don't have to be in her particular situation. You don't have to have lived her life to relate to her, to heal from hearing her. So look, that's how I know Spice. That's what I know of Spice. But I'm gonna let her tell y'all who she is and what you need to know about her, and then we'll get into this conversation. Spice, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me. And that intro was amazing. I really appreciate that. Thanks for having me, like I said. But yes, so I am Spice, and you did meet me on a panel, and the panel was because I do share my life about my husband's reentry into the world. So my husband was wrongfully convicted. He served 22 years. He went in when I was about almost 17, and we were dating at the time, and I supported him through his entire prison incarceration. And so he has been home for almost 5 years. And so we have been just working on this reentry process. And I use my platform to just share what that is about, because a lot of times people focus more on the person coming home, but they don't really think about the impacts it has on the supporter. And so that's what I do, is talk about my life in that manner. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we talk about vulnerability a lot on this show, and we talk about the strength that it takes to be vulnerable and the strength that it takes to let people into your life, into your thought process, into your emotional process, to be an example of what anything could look like, any experience could look like, and what it feels like to go through that, the struggle, the process. There's so much strength in that vulnerability, and it's so needed. So I really commend you for the work that you do and for answering that calling.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You was up there giving me chills. So when it comes to healing yourself, obviously, when you are dealing with the carceral system, when you're dealing with incarceration, what it does to individuals, what it does to families, communities, people like us, we know, we know, we don't have a choice to know. It doesn't have to be us, right? Neither of us have ever been incarcerated. I've never gotten so much as a speeding ticket. But I've been affected by the system of incarceration. I've been affected by the judicial system. When I was growing up, my dad was in and out of jail. I think my memories are as far back to elementary school.
Hmm.
I had memories of visiting him in jail. So when it comes to healing yourself from that particular experience, I actually didn't even start to acknowledge the trauma or the pain from that until I was an adult because it had been introduced to me so young.
Yeah, it's so true. And when you are a part of it, you feel like you're a little bit separated, like you're just going to visit and then you come back and do your life. But when you do have someone that's in there and you're consistently trying to, be a participate in their life,
Hmm.
you become. It was surprising to me at how institutionalized I became and still am. I mean, I have not been arrested, like you said. I think I've had maybe 2 parking tickets my whole life. Haven't had a lot of close interaction with the justice system at all,
Hmm.
besides this, and how how much it's infected my life is crazy. Besides, of course, my husband, and that part you understand that part, but my
Hmm.
everyday, my thinking and how I've boxed in a lot of my thoughts and just my movements were all around prison and all of that. It's really interesting at how affected you really are when you've never even stepped in that place under that premise. So it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember just what it took to visit, you
Mhm.
know, my
Mhm.
dad when my mom would take me. My mama had us going to, I think, at least I have a memory of at least two different jails that I visited him in.
Mhm.
And I remember just feeling like I did something, like you just start to feel like you did something wrong
Yeah.
for coming to visit a human being who's a part of your family, who, you know what I mean? So trying to reconcile the way that these kind of situations affect a kid and having to heal from that so long after you even engage with it, because to be honest, my parents ended up getting divorced. Like, I don't have a relationship with my dad. That was actually probably most of the relationship that I had with
Mm.
him, if I'm being completely honest, was when I was a kid and he was in one place. We knew where he was at. We went and visited him, and that was, I think, where I really developed most of my relationship with him. So it was just like weird to
Yeah.
think of. And honestly, like, that judicial experience obviously isn't the only one that I'm healing from. You know what
Mm.
I mean? And I could only assume, being that you were never incarcerated yourself, that's also not the only experience that you're healing yourself from.
Right.
But what I do know is that the experience of going to that jail and visiting my dad when he was there, or having, letters come in the mail.
Mhm.
Another thing, if you've ever tried to communicate or still be in relationship with someone who's incarcerated, like, you're sending letters. And I mean, this was back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
it was probably like late 90s when I was, so letter writing was probably more of a thing then.
Right.
But
Right.
I assume they still, send in letters now.
Emails now.
Oh, emails. Okay, come
Yeah.
on, technology. Look,
Yeah.
so my experience, you can tell, is a little dated because they were sending letters back
Right.
then. But I remember that, like, for my birthday or something, like, whenever my dad would send a letter, like, he did not have this artistic ability to draw or to sketch or whatever, but someone would always draw me or sketch me
Yeah.
something that he
Right.
knew I liked, like a little Tweety bird or whatever the little animal was, or cartoon character I liked. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, and my friend, he drew this for you because he knew you'd like it," or whatever, whatever. And it just reminds me that, like, even with all these things that we're healing from, the multiple systems of
Mm.
oppression that we're navigating and having to heal from at any given time, within that, we're always healing ourselves. We're always contributing to the healings of others, and there's always this system of, like humanity. Like, there's always going to be a way that we are protecting our own humanity within these systems and protecting the humanity of others within these systems.
Hmm. Absolutely. I mean, it has just been it's kind of this roller coaster because as soon as, even when he came home, you would think that that was when the healing would be starting of us
Hmm.
healing from him coming home. But because the system is what it is, he came home and we really basically started a whole nother journey. It's not even, we haven't even got a chance to really heal from that because so many other things have come up since he's been home. So it's literally one thing after another. And for me, it's been really kind of learning that like this system has really taught me how to not love myself.
Mm.
And he's having the same struggle. And for us to be for 20 something years every week when you go into that visit and they literally have you take off your clothes, telling you that you can't be who you are in this
Mm.
place for however you're visiting, it starts to change and make you not feel like you're okay. Like you being you is not okay. And so one of the really big things I've been paying attention to is just like remembering who I am and then like remembering that it's okay to be who I am and start talking out loud about my life and who and what I've gone through. And that's been really where my healing started was I couldn't really share this part of my life with the people in my life, in my, close circle. My family wasn't very supportive. Friends, they tried, but it just brought more question that made more anxiety and it just didn't feel very safe.
Hmm.
And so one day I had made just a random video talking about my relationship and strangers, of course, were just like, oh, I want to know more. I want to know more. And so that's really when this kind of started for me. But this process has just allowed me to realize like people do want to hear what you have to say. And even though you've been in a space that's been telling you that what you have to say is not important, it's important to somebody. And I'm just excited. It's been fun finding those people that find that we have a commonality, but then also find this interesting and want to kind of build the community around it because it's a different thing. And you want to be able to walk in and just start talking about your story without having to give all the backup and explain and this means this
Hmm.
and that means that. So it's been just really nice to find people who understand and can relate to some of the things that are just not very normal typically.
I know that's right. And I feel like that's a part of this process of healing yourself is making sure that you are in a space where you don't have to do all that explaining every time.
Yep,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like I'm one of those people who I am a therapy girly, but
Hmm.
boy do I hate starting with a new therapist. I'm like, can y'all
Right.
just get the notes from the last person? Like, please, I can't catch you up. I can't catch every single one of y'all up on all the years of trauma that led to where we are now.
That is so true. It is so true. So, finding these ladies or this community has been like when you say something and they ask instantly no, and you can just start laughing because you know all of the background that goes with that without having to say it. That is priceless. And that's not something that I had when I was doing this time with my husband. It wasn't, I mean, prison has its own culture on top of it. So being a
Hmm.
prison wife, typically when you're in that realm, you're not really out here making friends with the other prison wives because there's politics, there's rules. You stay at your table. You keep your eyes on your own stuff. It's not a lot of cross communication just because it can get messy fast. So you don't have a lot of friends that know that type part of your life or the intricacies that go with it. So now being on this end, it's been a lot of fun just like comparing stories, reminiscing about things, and even, doing it for 22 years. And some of the ladies I run into now, they may have only done it for, 3 or 4, not discounting
Hmm.
that. That's still a huge feat. But prison time has changed. So things that I'll mention are just like not the same. Or they're like, when did that happen? That wasn't the case. And it's like, girl, that was the whole case for the longest time. So
Yeah.
it's been really interesting and fun, and I've been really grateful to find these ladies. And my platform is what's been bringing them to me. So it's been wonderful.
What a beautiful relationship of
Yeah.
that. Like, not only your vulnerability and speaking about, well, one, just speaking about what
Hmm.
has happened to you is huge, because a lot of the times when something happens to us that hurts us, oh, we do not speak about it, not to
Yeah.
nobody.
Right.
And so that is huge. That is taking so much power away from the what happened to you and putting it into the like, this is what I'm doing about it part,
Mhm.
which is so powerful. Such a beautiful shift of energy. Um, and it's something that I don't know, I don't think I was always able to do, certainly around where it came to the judicial system and the ways in which I was affected by it, largely because so much of it was involuntarily. It was involuntarily. Like, I
Right.
didn't choose to have a father that was incarcerated. I
Mhm.
didn't choose to have the effects of that on myself or my self-esteem, or, all the things that go with having an incarcerated parent. It was
Yeah.
all involuntary. And so how do you go about addressing these things that happen to you that you didn't choose? That's the part where you have claimed such this huge power by just even being willing to talk about it, because that can be a starting point for a lot of people. That was my starting point in,
Yeah.
beginning to talk about the power of healing in community, and how much deeper and how much wider I felt like my own healing was when I was being vulnerable, not just with myself, but with someone else. And
Mhm.
it did take me to a point to get there. Another thing that you said that I really want to draw out was that you were in spaces, and I identified, because I have been in many spaces that told me it wasn't okay to be me.
Mhm.
And that was certainly the judicial system, which will tell you your shirt isn't right, your hair isn't right, you don't got on the right nail color.
Yeah.
um, the doctor's office, the dentist,
Schools,
school,
jobs, all of it.
jobs. Certainly, these are all different institutions, all different spaces where I've been made to feel that who I am is not okay.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so this is a transferable skill, the one that we're building right now. The skill to heal ourselves, the skill to hold space and build space for ourselves when it's not
Yep.
there.
Repurposing that pain. You take it and you turn it and flip it and turn it into something that is useful for you. Because for me, it was like I was almost ashamed a lot of times to talk about the prison journey, or even to mention that that was part of my life, because it has such a stigma. But
Hmm.
the matter of the fact is, it is my life. That is,
Yeah.
I grew up in prison. It's not something to necessarily be proud of, but what I've been able to do with it, I am proud of. And that was what I was not really embracing because of the shame. I was just living in that for a long
Mhm.
time, and not saying like, yeah, that was not the best thing. But what you managed to turn that into is pretty incredible. And that's where you stand on. And that's where the strength comes from. But it took me a long time to get to that point. But now that I'm like realizing it, it's like I can't wait every day to find a new way to be more loud, more proud, more like, this is who I am, take it or leave it. I don't really care if you don't like it, because I've been through too much. So if you don't like it, that's fine. I keep getting up. I'll keep doing it. I'll start over. I've been knocked down. There's not really a whole lot you can do to like damage me anymore. So my story is my story. And I'm also very much a therapy girly. And my therapist, one of them, she's told me, she said, right now it's like this. And I had to really like lean into that, because it might not be exactly what I've wanted it to be or what I
Mhm.
dreamt it to be. And I worked really hard to make these goals and reach these things. And maybe they didn't come to fruition like I had it planned. But right now, this is what my life looks like. So what am I going to do with it? And I'm not going to just waste it. I'm not going to sit on it and just whine about it. Like, I have done something dynamic. It might not be dynamic in your traditional way, but I've supported, held down, stayed faithful, loyal, committed to my love for 20 something years while he was in literally underneath hell. And I was right there with them. And now we are trying to turn this into our legacy and really build something beautiful from it. And I'm just not going to be ashamed about that. I'm not. I've already lived through it. So I'm here and I'm still here. And it's just, this is what it is now. So we might as
Period.
well talk about it.
Yes. Yes. And that's that full ownership of self. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Because when we own ourselves, we're not just owning, who I am today. That's not the only part of owning me and standing 10 toes down in me. That means I'm owning every day of my path, every step that led me to where I am today.
Yep,
And there's so much power in it. There's so much unburdening in that because
it
we're
is.
not holding on to other people's expectations of our lives. We're not holding on to the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. We're
Right.
trusting that what is for us is for us. We're trusting the path that we're on. There's this
Absolutely.
theory about soul contracts or whatever. Because I'm also like a woo woo girl. I'm like, we gon' humans, if they gonna do one thing, they gonna theorize about how we got here, what we're doing here, and why. And I love it. I think it's such a cool part about being human. Like, what other animal on earth do you see sitting around just wondering why it's there? Like, humans are so cute. So there's like this whole soul contract theory that like each of us before we were born, or whatever, in whatever plane it is that we exist in before we come to the physical plane, we all agree to the life that we're going to live. Like, we're like, okay, this is what's going to happen to me. Okay, all right, I'm in it. And the first time I had that theory, or I encountered that theory, I said, oh no, you got me fucked up. There is absolutely no way I would have chosen
Right.
anything
Right.
that has happened to me thus far. So absolutely not. But I've come back to that theory a few times since the first time I encountered it as a teenager. And I'm like, I don't know, obviously anything, there's no guarantee that that is, there's no guarantee that that isn't. So I just muse about it. If this was the case, um, all right, I'm gonna make this something that I would have agreed to.
Mm-hmm.
If this is the case, then I know that this is rolling out a lot different than it has in the past. Because the life that I agreed to, okay, I'm kind of living it now. I'm like, all right,
And
maybe I did agree to that.
it's kind of cool because that you just said something that I realized the other day. It was like, no, my life is not what I had planned it to be. But then when I can look back at the big picture, I am that when I was a little girl, I am my little girl's like greatest dream. Like I am that cool, the rich auntie, the cool girl, the cool older lady that just got it together, got a little money in her pocket, can do what she want to do, don't have any children, so I can go when I want to go. Like I can create my day as I want to create it. I work from home, my job is great, very flexible. Like I literally have the life of my dreams with some things missing still. But when it doesn't look like you thought it was, sometimes you forget, you don't realize that you are actually living your answered prayer. This is everything you asked for. There's some things that are missing, but the main thing is still happening. And it is like, I just feel such, not just like a big girl, like I feel like that girl, like you really have come a long way. It's hard to not, I mean, I think even with just my upbringing, and I think some of my religious upbringing has made it where it's hard for me to give myself those flowers or
Mm-hmm.
give myself credit for things that I've worked hard for, because it just kind of was ingrained in me that you can't do that. It's not something that I was really grown up doing. So now
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning how to give myself my own validation, praise myself, and just
Yes.
it's been really it's been really cool. And then just being like, you can do whatever you want. You're grown. You don't ask for permission. You are the authority here. So I'm just trying to embrace that.
It's huge. It changes everything. These perspective shifts. It's
Mhm.
because we're adults now, so that's the truth. We can do whatever, our life can look like what we want it to look like, but there's a lot that tells us like, do this, you're supposed to do that
Right.
by this age. If you have not done this, then you are this, you know what I mean? So we
Oh,
can decide to believe our truth, or
right.
we can decide to believe another truth. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? We can build our life to be what we want it to be, or we can build our life to be what somebody else told us it was supposed to be.
And
And
that's
it's
what I did. That was
Yeah.
in most of my whole entire life. And it's hard to break through that, to
Mm-hmm.
deconstruct that you can actually do what you want to do. And it's not wrong if you change your mind. You can change your mind
Yeah.
and you can start over. And that's not wrong either. And you're not behind. You're not behind. Like, it's these things that you tell yourselves or the world tells you that you have to keep on this path and this pace that really is just going to kill you and not give you a whole lot of fun. And you'll just get to the end and realize, I haven't really done a lot of the things I want to do. And
Yeah.
I just don't, I did that for the time he was in there. Like, I kept waiting for him to come home. Like, we'll start, or I'll start when
Mm-hmm.
he comes home. And it was like, yeah, I did live a life, but I could have had such a fuller life if I felt free to just be. But I didn't
Yeah.
know that I could really do that then.
Mm.
And so no, I don't regret that, but I really am embracing that I understand that part now. And you get older, you just get wiser. But that is definitely like embracing the day, because it is your day. You can decide what your day looks like. And there might be those things that you have to do. But within those things, there's always a way that you can find a little bit of your yes, get a little bit closer to your vacation or your happy spit place. Like, there's always a place to get to that.
Yes, it's just this process of healing yourself. It's a lot of rewiring. You're
It is.
rewiring your
Constant.
expectations. You're rewiring how you show up in certain situations. You're rewiring how you talk to yourself, what your
Mhm.
expectations of yourself are. When you fail, what do you expect from yourself? Do you expect for
Right.
yourself to feel bad, to talk down about yourself, to be in a slump for a week, to abandon whatever it was that you're working on? Or do you expect yourself to regroup, take a beat, coach yourself, motivate yourself? You know what I
Right.
mean? Get back up. It's all about ourselves. It's about how we are reparenting ourselves as needed,
Mhm.
rewiring ourselves, resetting our expectations, shifting our perspective. That is how we're healing ourselves.
Absolutely. No is a complete sentence.
Mm,
Rest is not a luxury, it is necessity. And it's cool. You can jazz up the rest and make it
mm,
luxury if you want to, but you need it. It's absolutely mandatory. And I've been making sure that I'm like really listening to myself with that, even if it's meaning
yes.
I might have to disappoint somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because in that healing is killing that people pleaser, and that is, how deep that thing goes.
Yes.
That
Heavy
thing
on no
goes.
was a complete sentence, because that's
Mhm.
where my people pleasing came in. Anytime I'm saying no, here's a book of explanation, a 400-page novel on all the reasons why I would love to do this for you, but I cannot.
Right.
No, no, because no.
No
And
is
sometimes
no.
I'll catch myself getting ready to type out that novel.
Yeah,
Backspace, backspace,
me
backspace.
too.
No, I
Yes.
cannot do it. Thank you for the invitation. Boop.
And it really just takes a lot of extra like stress off, because I'm trying to, think of what I need to say to you to make you feel okay about me saying no. Instead of, like you said, when you backspace, it's like, now it's on you to deal with that. That ain't on me. You deal with the no. You figure out how to deal
Yeah.
with that.
And a lot of the time, like the expectation that I have built in from those people or those experiences that made me feel like I had to over explain. And, because there will be those people who you say no to, and they're like, well, why? Why can't you just, and if you, and that's where that came
Yeah.
from for me.
Yeah.
So you know, I get it. Me reparenting myself, I get it. It's okay.
It's
That's why you
okay.
wanted to do that. But guess what? You're not that version of you no more. This
Right.
version of you is going to step in now, and I am going to explain to this person why we're not. So it's okay. That older version of you may peak up a little bit, right? When you come to that new situation again, that old version of you might be like, maybe you tired, maybe you feeling a little sick, you were over stressed that week, because healing isn't linear. So just
Mhm.
because you did it great last time doesn't mean it's going to be that way this time, right? And so a little you cracked a little bit and
A little
you
bit.
started going back and forth, right? The new version of yourself can step in at any time.
Right.
Just
And
because you
also give
backpedaled a little
yourself
bit don't mean you got to stay. Come on back. That
a
newer
little
developed
grace.
version of you is going to kick in and say, we ain't doing that no more.
Absolutely. it's new. It's new for you. So like that was one thing I used to beat myself up with, is that like I'd walk in these situations that I knew would trigger me, and I would be prepared for the trigger. So then when the trigger came and I'd be like, oh, okay, I caught that one. But then right after you catch that one, there's another one that just kind of
Mhm.
sneaks in, and you didn't realize you didn't catch it. So you respond how you might have responded before. And then you just beat yourself up because you feel so bad that they got you or you didn't catch yourself. But I had to really like remember, like, this is a new thing. I've been doing this my whole life. This has been the dynamic in this relationship, the whole relationship. So it does take practice, but I really try to reflect on it, and not in a way that I'm beating myself up, but just reflect on like how that made me feel, what the feelings were, so that I can remember, or it might help me catch it the next time. But like you said, healing is like this. So it might be months before that thing comes up again and triggers you in the way. And you might not catch it the best way. But it's not perfection. You're just trying to make better choices and get better with each
Yeah.
one. And the
And
more
there's
you're aware of it, the better easier it becomes.
genuinely. And there's people who can't wait for you to slip up anyway, right? So
Yeah.
they will be right there to remind you, you said you was different now,
Right.
but look at you doing the same thing that you did
Right.
before, right? So don't even get caught up in trying to pretend you're perfect. Don't try to
Right.
get caught up in trying to pretend that's the last time that will ever happen again, because you're a new, changed version of yourself, and your new version would never, it don't even gotta be all that.
Nope. But
You're a
you
version that is doing your best every single day.
absolutely. But it also is really important to surround yourself with people who want to see you do your best.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're just pointing out that you said you wasn't going to do that, but they're not helping you do it,
Mm-hmm.
I have really tried to make it a conscious decision that, if you're important to me, then I want you to know what's important to me. And right now, this is what I'm working on. So I might need you to tag in and help your girl out if you catch me doing these behaviors or saying those things. I don't want you just pointing out my negative without you also trying to help push me up, because I've always been the pull upper and the push upper. And in this portion of my life, I know that I need help. I need people to help me to help elevate me in certain areas, especially when I'm still a little wobbly. So I've been really careful about that. My circle too it has to change, because I need you to be in a similar space and understand where I'm going. I don't always want to be looking back at the past, or having to come back and grab you and make you understand what I'm trying to do. Like, I need you to kind of
Mm-hmm.
be there with me. Not that I'm pushing you off or forgetting you, but I am being very selective of where my energy goes, because it is important to the healing process. I can't keep giving it to you if it's not helping this healing version of myself I'm trying to create.
No, and that's a huge part of it, because people who are healing themselves still need their village. They still
Hmm.
need community. They still need people who can help hold them accountable. Just because you're
Absolutely.
healing yourself don't mean you're healing by yourself,
Right.
you know? And so while there are, naysayers in the larger community, and there are people who aren't going to be a part of your particular healing journey, they're not going to be your cheerleader in there. There are people who are going to do that for you.
Hmm.
There
Hmm.
certainly will be people who show up for you when you need them to, and who can see the best version of yourself, the one that you're watering, the
Yep.
one that's in there speaking and encouraging you to tell the truth and to show up and to follow your spark. Like, there's people who see that and they want to water it too,
Yeah.
So you got to make sure you let them
It's so true.
while
That's
you
the
heal
hard
yourself. Because that was another thing for me. I said, once I got on this healing journey and people started bringing me things that didn't feel familiar, they didn't feel like that that energy that I was used to getting. Not
part.
necessarily was that energy good that I was used to getting, but they didn't
Hmm.
feel like that. It was something new, because I was trying new things, right? When you start trying new things, when you start showing up different because you're healing yourself, and now you're not necessarily attracted to the things that you used to be, you're going to start going different places. You're going to start
So
meeting different people, and they are not going to feel the same as the other people you was
right.
vibing with. And you got to be able to trust yourself and trust that newness.
Yeah, and like you said, for me, it's scary
Yeah.
because, especially if you've had a lot of hurt from people. And,
Mhm.
being in the big 40s, trying to make new friends is like, whoa, what is this world? This is really strange. And I had to really learn to like let down a lot of my guards when it came to just past relationships or things that made me feel uncomfortable because, I'm healing. So I'm still fresh off of some of that hurt. But what I realize is that like I don't think you're going to avoid getting hurt in life. Like that is what life does. It brings you the
Mhm.
good, it brings you some of the bad, and you just learn how to ebb and flow with that. And I don't want to be the one who cheats myself all because of the fear of possibly getting hurt. And I know that I read a quote that said, like, you haven't even met all the cool people you're going to meet in your life yet. Like, you think you've met everybody that you love so much. You haven't even met all the people you're going to absolutely be in love with and love to call family or just friends or whatever. And I read that and it was just like, this world has billions of people in it. And I'm just sitting here with the few that I have and being like, judging everybody off of those few. That's just not very smart, and it's really just hurting myself. And so I've been really trying, and also trying to pull my husband into this with me.
Yeah.
Us just trying to be more open and being more just out there, not necessarily outside doing crazy stuff, but just be more
Mhm.
willing to connect and put ourselves in spaces that we didn't normally put ourselves in. And it has just been, we've had the best summer so far. It has been so much fun.
Yes.
So much
Isn't
fun.
it beautiful?
It
And
is.
I get it, because honestly, my anxiety was something that I had to deal with, because I'm like, how I love travel, but I'm anxious every time I leave the house. Like,
Yeah,
how are these things gonna exist
yeah,
together? So
right.
I really had to start like curating my experiences. I'm like, okay, so I don't like big crowds of people. Okay, so what can I do that, is smaller crowds of people, or it's a more controlled flow of traffic of people, so maybe a lot of people do it in one day but not all at one time. You really got to work with yourself while you're on this healing journey, while you're healing yourself.
Yeah,
Again, you're your coach, you're
right.
your parent, reparenting that inner child within you. So
Mhm.
you're working with yourself and giving yourself this space to grow, this space to explore. Maybe you don't already know all the things, just like you don't know all the people who are going to love you or who you're going to love. You don't know all the hobbies that are going to excite you.
Right.
You don't know all the places that you're going to want to travel one day, or so just give yourself space to explore, give yourself space to not know and just want to find out. It can
That
be
I love
a
that.
fun space instead of a scary one.
I love that. I mean, because it also goes into like for me, I've been trying to look at my house as of course it's my place of sanctuary. But
Hmm.
every room is you got the kitchen, you have your living room, you have your bedrooms and all those things and typically you use them in those ways. And I've
Hmm.
been just trying to like really even just going down to that like okay, what do I need? Like I don't we had extra rooms cuz we at the time we were going to have children. We've now decided that's not what we're going to do. So we have this room. What do I use the room? It doesn't have to just be a guest room. If it
Hmm.
wants to be, I just turn one into a whole closet room because why not? It's my
Yes.
room. I have a room to do that. Like, just trying to think outside of what norm is all the boxes that we put ourselves in. Like, we don't have to box in anything. If we have it, we can make it. It's all about, for me, I'm really just trying to get as close to my yes as I can. I don't have the big walk in closet, but I have a room that I can turn into a closet that I can walk into. So it's something, it's a little thing,
Yes.
just me rethinking and just repurposing what I have to make it what I need it to be, not using it how they tell you it's supposed to be because there's so many different uses for stuff. So I've really been trying to have fun with that and just every time my mind gets blown, it's like, oh, I can do that because you really
Yes.
just practice thinking that way. And
Absolutely.
being in the community and running into new people and their ideas and seeing how they live their lives is so inspiring. And we are out here doing some amazing things. And it's like I want to find as many of y'all as I can find. Let me find.
Yes. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. It's like this balance of like mental freedom and physical freedom, like this relationship of one of them growing and the other one grows too, because that's it. Like, you are allowing yourself to see things differently. And
Yeah.
then it's bringing about a physical manifestation of change in your life. It's so beautiful. I I was just seeing something that is like what you're talking about on social media. I came across this post where it's this couple, and they spent some time just reimagining their apartment to the point where, and it was kind of like funny because they made videos where they would just be like sitting underneath their desk to work instead of just like at it, or they're standing in like the corner of their room that they've never stood in, just to view the room from that angle. And it's like, yeah, like literally
Yeah.
things that small, up to reimagining a second room as a closet instead of having that walk-in closet that you want. That is literally unlocking things in your mind, unlocking possibilities for
Mhm.
your life. And
Mhm.
it is that simple.
It really is. Well, it is once you start you doing it. It's not at first. Like it's really hard to like
Yeah.
because I remember, everybody has a spare room. It's supposed to be the guest room. And my husband don't like people coming over to our house. So the
Yeah.
reality of us having people come here and it being all set up it was just a waste of the space.
Yeah.
And so like I love when you said they're sitting under their desk. Why not? If you have a nice plush rug that is comfy and nice and soft, sit on the rug if you want to sit on the rug. If you get up in the morning like I did the other day and had a hankering for that pecan, the pralines and pecan ice cream, I ate the ice cream.
Mm.
I have to wait for the time because you just can do it.
Yeah.
You're a big kid now. Enjoy that. We all have to do the important stuff like paying the bills, the stuff that's not fun. So whenever you can find little pieces of fun, like let's make that happen. And you can do that every day. You can have those little moments every single day.
Yes. There's these random exercises of free will
Hmm.
posts that I also see on social media, where people just acknowledge that we have free will and we can do anything at any point. So they'll just be like, or whatever. They'll just do some random thing at any point, because why not? We
Why
can.
not?
And getting down to those basics sometimes can be so healing for a nervous system that has
Hmm.
not been able to do what it's wanted to do, or that
Absolutely.
has not been in spaces that felt safe or free. So
Hmm.
this is tied to some healing things. We're not just saying do whatever to do whatever, right? This is tied to healing. This is tied to rewiring your brain. It's tied to calming your nervous system and
Absolutely.
opening up your mind to possibilities of growth, possibilities for your own life and what it can look like.
And putting down the guilt because you are allowed to be happy. You are allowed to seek joy. You're allowed to rest. And you're allowed to say no and not have to feel guilty about those things. And that was really not something I was taught. I didn't ever feel like I was taught that that was okay. And so now, being in your big fours, it's literally learning that like I am enough where exactly how I am today. I am enough who I am right now in this moment. And everything I need to be me, I have that. I'm her already. I can improve, I can gain, I can change, but I'm not missing anything. Like I'm not short. I'm good. And I'm just going to keep building off of that. And it really is like you kind of have to say you really have to say it to yourself so you can really hear it and believe it. And then once you do, it's crazy how the universe just matches it and they
Yeah.
start opening the door and start bringing you the attention or the resources or whatever it is you need. But here's the spot that I'm still working on, like you said, is accepting it and being and taking it in and not having and not justifying it away or excusing it away or sabotaging it. I'm really still struggling in that, but I'm aware that that's my where I'm working on. But I'm telling you, once you really start believing it, I think that I'm still learning that I need to believe it more so that when people are giving it to me, it's like, oh, yeah, of course they are. Of course
Yes.
they're giving it to me. Instead of like, oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. you know. So
Yeah.
I'm still in the it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, I'm definitely using my affirmations to help me out with that as well. Because the thing is, on my self-love journey, I am finding as soon as I start believing in myself a little bit, the universe is like, oh, thank you, goodness. Okay, let's go. Like, I already had so much
It is
waiting
out
for you.
here.
I was literally just waiting for you to say yes, to
Right.
start accepting it, to start seeing what was here for you. There's so much blessings waiting on the other side of self-love, on just
Oh yeah.
accepting it, on just saying, I want to do better. There's already blessings on the other side of that statement.
There is. You're so right. And it's almost contagious because when you start your self-love journey and you really commit to it, you are drawn to more people who are also on their self-love journey. And when you see how good they're loving themselves, you're like, "Ooh, I could do better." And then you want to kick that up a notch. And I mean, that to me is like the best kind of peer pressure you could have. Is like just surrounding yourself with beautiful women who know who they are, and they know they're not perfect, but they know where they're going, and that excites me. That really excites me. I enjoy
Same. Oh,
that. Mhm.
healing yourself and witnessing people
Right.
healing themselves is, oh my God. I think that may be my calling in life. But Spice, we've said so much, girl. We've said so much, and I am just beaming, honestly, from this conversation with you, from your warmth and your wisdom. Is there anything we have not said? Is there a last word that you want to leave the people with around healing yourself?
I mean, I've said it already, but ladies, I'm gonna tell y'all: take the nap. Stay home and tell them people you are not gonna make it. Tell them sorry, but no thank you. It is okay, and y'all need to rest because we do so much for so many, and it's constant. And the rest is necessary. We are getting sick, we're dying, we're not taking care of ourselves because we're just taking on too much. So if you get anything else, like take that nap, girl. Don't feel guilty about the nap. It's important. You can't keep the skin glowing if you ain't getting that rest. You need the
Yeah.
rest.
Ooh, I'm personally gonna accept that one. Clearing the calendar, girl.
Clear that calendar. Yeah, that's been so helpful when I see the too many blocks blocked in and then going through and just like, nope, sorry, 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 sorry. To the point now where people that are in my life, they know it's coming. The cancellation is probably gonna come. Oh, my friend just bought me this. Level of cancel plans. That is how much I be canceling them plans. We bonded over that. We bonded over the fact that we both like to cancel the plans and we are excited about it.
Yes, girl, look, I am justified and known in my friend group to be the one who ain't coming no more. So you know what? It is what it is. We need
It
to
is.
rest
That's right.
all things with balance. Yes.
So funny.
All right. Well, y'all, my last word for you is just that you are worthy. Okay? You're worthy of your own time and your own energy. Remember that and act like it, honey. Now,
Mm.
Spice, because I know the people are wanting to know where they can find you, book you, hear you speak.
Well, you can find me on all platforms under the Real Spice Life TV. So, Spice Life TV Spice is the name you'll hear me go by all the time, but Spice Life TV is what is kind of the brand that I'm working on. So you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. YouTube, we do full length videos about just our life and how we're starting our business together. And then Instagram and TikTok, I talk more about the prison life journey and how we're transitioning from that to where we are now. And a lot of self love and motivation and inspirational talk. So I'd love to see you over there.
Yes. And I will say, y'all, I am already following her on TikTok, and the content is good. The content is contenting. So definitely make sure you get over there and follow her. And if you want to hear more about the Hot Girls Healing Podcast, come to some events I'm holding, or purchase any of my healing related retail items, you can follow me at Hot Girls Healing Podcast on social media. And if you see me out in these streets, make sure you say hey. But until then, I am your host, Salenna Green, and I'll see you back here for another episode of the Hot Girls Healing Podcast.
Since I know you're tired, since I know you're stressed, you were always favored and you were always blessed. It's all about that. Hot girls healing. We doing it our way. Hot girls healing. We better day by day. Hot girls healing. We doing it our way. Hot girls healing. And it goes on and on. And when it all goes wrong, we'll celebrate so nothing's gonna hold us down. And it goes on and on. The healing takes it all. But we are proud and strong. Nothing's gonna hold us down. Hot girls healing. Hot girls healing.